Now, I always get asked the question, what is the next generation of creative and market research agency model? Well, I will say shamelessly that my colleagues at IRI represent the next generation market research agency model. They are amazing, and Andrew, my co-author, is amazing. And they really have come a long way than most other agencies I know in embedding and infusing AI and machine learning in everything that they do. But putting IRI and my colleagues aside, I will say that the next generation of agency is what I call, especially research agency, is what I call insights as a service. The same way we have SaaS, software as a service, is what I call insights as a service. It is not about handing data to our clients, or handing a floppy disk, or for an old floppy disk for an old guy like me, or a USB drive, or a cloud-based sharing of data with somebody, but extracting relevant insights and giving it to the consumer in a manner that they can activate them. So it is an insight that is built ground up with a view to being activated. Otherwise, an insight is like a paper flower. It has no fragrance and no use. So I would say that the next generation of research agency is one that is built ground up for insights as a service. That means that insights will have to be generated within the company. Now, if anyone thinks that an algorithm will entirely generate all of the insights, well, you are fundamentally wrong. An algorithm will take you 90% of the way. But let us not forget that the 10% of human ingenuity is vital and critical, and nothing beautiful will come without it. As much as we talk a lot about artificial intelligence will go nowhere without that little bit of natural intelligence at the very end. And the old poem that basically says, I being poor have only my dreams. I spread my dreams underneath your feet. Tread softly, because you tread upon my dreams. Do you think a computer can write that? I doubt that. I don't think it ever will. All a computer will tell you is that dreams are important, walking is important, treading is important, treading softly, particularly important. That's about all a computer will tell you. But to string it together, to make that emotion rise naturally, it takes that human intelligence. But a computer can tell you what matters most. So taking that and putting it together to generate the next set of amazing insights that are grounded in the reality of activation is what insights as a service is going to be. And that is going to be the next generation of market research agency. The creative agencies, on the other hand, will be ground up built on metaphors, the language of the non-conscious mind. It is no longer a young man or woman with purple hair playing ping pong in the background that determines what is right for a brand. Algorithms will determine what the brand's personality is based on the big five. Algorithms will determine what the metaphors pertaining to the brand and the category are. Algorithms will determine what the daily activities, occasions, life pressures, cultural tensions connected to the brand and the demography that the product solves are. All of them will be simplified, filtered, then presented to the creative. So the creative agent will then take the metaphors, will take the language of the brand, will take the semiotics of the metaphors, will take the personality of the brand, take the occasions, life pressures, and everything connected to the brand and blend them into a beautiful story that opens with a metaphor, closes with a metaphor, and aligns it perfectly for 15 seconds of absolute bliss or 5 seconds of rapid bliss, depending on which channel you're activating the ad in. So it is the generation of creative, which is a lot of it is algorithm driven, that identifies the keys of the piano for you. The very keys, instead of 10 million little different sounding notes, it picks out the keys for you. And then it takes a great creative to create that masterpiece. Anyone that thinks that you can automatically generate a beautiful story entirely algorithm driven is mistaken. So long as human beings consume stories, they need to be generated by human beings. If computers wish to consume stories, go ahead, have the algorithm generated. But we still live in the world where we as human beings still dominate. So I would say that the next generation of creative uses the algorithmic output as the paintbrush, as the paint, as the canvas, and then creates a masterpiece using those bits of paint that are relevant to the brand, the metaphors relevant to the brand and the category, and the various life pressures and occasions and cultural tensions relevant to that. It is the tight integration between the algorithmic output and the final creative ingenuity of a human being that I think is going to create a wonderfully new world for all of us.